Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka June33. I'm back with another video on the channel for you guys today. And today, this is your episode 5 review for Dragon Ball Daima. Another week, another enjoyable Dragon Ball Daima episode. We're going to talk about it all here on the channel. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you guys are new, hit the bell right next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Depending on when you guys are watching this, my Dragon Ball Daima episode 5 reaction might be live. It just depends on when you guys are watching this. So make sure you guys go to the channel and check it out. Go to the Dragon Ball Daima playlist. You guys can find all my reviews, all my reactions, all my discussion videos for everything Dragon Ball Daima. So we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna get into it. So this is episode 5. So we are 5 episodes in. I'm really enjoying Daima. I really am. Every episode so far, at least, it's like a mix of humor, right? There's a lot of adventuring, giving you those OG Dragon Ball vibes, and you get a little bit of action, right? We haven't had any big fights yet, really, in terms of Goku. Goku's fought in pretty much every episode of the show, but he hasn't been challenged at all. The most challenge he got was from Vegeta in episode 1 when they were having a training session on Earth. So that is this. It's not a critique of the show. Honestly, of course, they're building stuff up, right? They're building up the Teragamis, as these, the big bads that hold on to the Dragon Balls. You have to defeat them to get access to the Dragon Balls, which nobody in the Demon World has ever done. So they really are hyping those fights up. We've seen the Teragamis in the intros, right? So those are the fights that are going to be really exciting. And of course, we expect maybe close to the end of the show, we'll get some big battle with Goma. Of course, who's the Demon World King, and responsible for turning Goku and the others back into children, to begin with. But yeah, the one thing is, we've seen Goku in action these last couple episodes, and he hasn't been challenged. It's more just a showcase of how strong he is, and really, one of the big things is that it seems like nobody in the Demon World knows anything about training or ki control, anything like that. We've seen Glorio kind of, when last episode when Goku was able to sense that an enemy was coming. Goku was Gloria was like, how did you see him? Like, he was invisible. And Goku was like, ki. And Gloria was intrigued by that. Same thing with Panzy in this episode. The beginning of the episode, Panzy asks Goku, like, how are you able to take out all those guys and you're just a kid? And Goku's like, training. And it's because I do a lot of training. And Panzy's like, what the hell is that? What do you mean training? Goku's like, training is training. It's not till later in the episode that Panzy finds out that Goku's actually a full-grown adult, that just got shrunk back into a kid by Goma. So yeah, but that's one thing that we've seen. We've seen Goku have a bar fight. We've seen Goku showcase some power pole action. Now, we've seen Goku fight without the power pole, and we got a very small tease of Super Saiyan in this episode. But now, I want to see Goku actually get challenged. Now in his mini body, which of course is probably going to be by the Teragamis. But that's what I want to see. Of course, it's always see Goku kick ass, right? And when you guys see my reaction, I marked out over it. I love the animation and the fight choreography and everything we're getting. But I do want to see Goku get challenged now a little bit. See, if it's the Teragamis or somebody else, somebody kind of push Goku. Not to his absolute limit. I think we'll see Goku get pushed to his absolute limit later in the show. But I just want to see Goku get a little more of a challenge. It's been way too easy for him these last couple episodes. Like, we all know Goku's the GOAT. We all know how strong he is. He's, the strong, as they're calling him, the strongest warrior in the world. They say it in the intro, and they say it, they reference it in the Demon World in this episode. But yeah, I do want to see Goku get challenged. That would be my little bit of feedback from this episode. In terms of the episode itself, like I said, we meet Panzy at the beginning, and Pansy's like, "Oh, are you guys going to the the Goku's like this spits out, oh, we're going to the castle, right? Because the Supreme Kai and Glorio don't want to give Pansy any real information, just because especially does like why would like I don't know you, I have like why would I say anything, you know what I mean? But of course, Goku's so kind of careless and clumsy. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to the castle." And Pansy's like, "Oh, I know where the castle is." And then you see Pansy. At first they ignore Pansy. Well, not Goku, but the Supreme Kai and Glorio do. But then all of a sudden Goku starts talking to Pansy, and they start talking about like how his ears are round. Goku talks about Goku says that Pansy's a weird name, and then when Pansy finds out that Goku it has two names, right? Pansy's like that's a little bit weird. And one thing that was cool is Goku actually calls himself Kakarot in this episode. He says Goku's my Saiyan name, and of course Pansy doesn't know what a Saiyan is. There are no Saiyans in the Demon realm, but Goku calls himself Kakarot as well, and then basically uh but you see what's cool about that is you never see Goku refer to himself as Kakarot. And it's not because Goku doesn't like accept it or anything. He just calls himself Goku. He refers to himself as a Saiyan raised on Earth, right? The only time he actually really references is because, of course, Vegeta calls him Kakarot about 99.9% of the time. And, the Broly movie, which, of course, takes place after Daima in the Dragon Ball Super timeline. And that's what Goku tells Broly, "Hey, call me Kakarot," because it's kind of like that shared same heritage that Goku and Broly have, right? As they become friends at the end of the movie. So it was cool to see Goku actually refer to himself as Kakarot, which he doesn't do often, right? That was cool. And I love one thing about this episode. I love like the interaction that Goku and Panzy have. It's very similar to Bulma. From OG Dragon Ball, right? They kind of have like this cool brother sister sibling, kind of relationship, right? Where they're making jokes at each other, they're having fun, things like that. And you kind of see like Pansy just kind of take the lead of the adventure. She's like, "Oh, like I know how to get to the castle faster. Let's go through these rocks," right? And you kind of see Glorio get ignored or get annoyed a little bit, right? And we'll talk about Glorio here in a little bit because there's just more hints that something is going on with Glorio. I don't know if he's the main villain, but they've been teasing it, and there's even a bigger tease at the later on in this episode, which we'll talk about. So eventually, they get over to the third demon world, King's Castle, right? And then we learn that basically Pansy is actually the princess. She's the daughter of the third Demon World King, which she didn't reveal before. One thing that was interesting is when Pansy was asking about the Supreme Kai and Glorio, right? Of course, Goku still cannot pronounce Glorio's name correctly, so they're gonna like keep that gimmick going throughout the show. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Goku doesn't get Glorio's name correct till the very end of the show. But still, we see the Supreme Kai like doesn't give Pansy any information at first. Of course, Supreme Kai wants to be careful. He doesn't want to just like tell someone that he really doesn't know what's going on, right? So Pansy didn't tell them that she was the princess of the third demon world, right? So it's kind of cool. Like they get to the gates, right? And Glorio tells Pansy like, "This is where like your journey stops," And then Pansy's like, "Yeah, I don't think so very much, right?" Because you see the guards recognize Pansy, and they're like, "Princess," and Goku and them are shocked, and Goku's like, "You don't really look like a princess," and Pansy's like, "Okay, Goku, enough," and so like I said, I love that like little sibling relationship that they established with Goku and Pansy in this episode. Quick sidetrack. We do go to the first demon world for a second. We see that Dende is being read like bedtime stories by it seems like one of Goma's assistants, right? And it looks like Dende's having the time of his life. Is one thing that's interesting is like I would guess Dende is still able to think, right? Like just because he's been turned into a baby doesn't mean he doesn't have his memories or anything like that. Because we saw that, of course, with Goten and Trunks in the first episode. Even though they were turned into babies, they were still able to kind of communicate telepathically. But of course, Dende can't do anything right now when his body is literally in baby form. So he can't do anything. He's really just forced to sit there and take it. But he's not annoyed of it. It's kind of actually cute to see, Dende being read stories. And we learn Goma's revelate what Goma's plan for Dende is. Goma wants Dende to grow up and make Dragon Balls in the Demon World, new Dragon Balls, because Goma is scared to fight the Teragamis, so he can't get his hand on the Demon World Dragon Balls. So they brought Dende over because Neva can't do it. Neva's too old to make Dragon Balls, so they're gonna have Dende make Dragon Balls in the Demon Realm for them. And we know Dende can because he was the one that made the Earth's Dragon Balls after Kami and Piccolo, remerged together during the Cell Saga. Yeah, so you can see they're taking care of Dende at least, right? So yeah. One thing that I was wrong about, I thought in this episode we would see Goma learn about Goku, like about Goku being in the Demon Realm. I thought like there was some way like the military force would communicate to the first Demon World and let let one of Goma's servants know that, hey, like we just got our ass whooped by this kid with spiky hair and an orange jumpsuit, and that would kind of like put Goma on alert that Goku's in the Demon Realm now, but they did not. So Goma still has no idea. Of course, I expect sometime in the next couple episodes for Goma to figure that out, which will add another layer, because Goku is technically kind of a fugitive right now, because we know that the military force is looking for him. Not that the military force can really do anything to him, but we know that he is a fugitive. But, I do expect in the next couple episodes for Goma to find out that Goku is in the Demon Realm at least. So we see, Goku and them. They walk through the castle, right? And then they meet the king of the third Demon Realm, Demon World, and basically, at first, the first thing he's asked, like, he doesn't even really greet them at first, right? The way Panzy describes him, he's kind of like an uncivilized mafia boss, which is kind of cool. Like, he's not really a bad guy, but he is a little bit out there. Like, he doesn't even greet Goku and them. He just asks right away, like, Glorio, who's the person you brought that's gonna defeat Goma? Which is a very, very interesting scenario, because we learn that, yes, the Demon World King did ask, Glorio to find somebody that could someone who strong enough to defeat Goma, but he never specifically asked Glorio to go get Goku. It was Glorio who came to the king and said, hey, I know someone that's stronger than Majin Buu that should be able to defeat Goma. Because remember, in the first episode of the show, we do see that Glorio is hiding, and he basically spying on the first demon. He's spying on King Goma, right? Because remember, we see Goma and Degusu. They're watching the events of the Majin Buu saga. That's how they learned about how strong Goku is. But, Glorio never told the third Demon World King that he was going to go get Goku. So that's interesting. The Supreme Kai does take note of that. We see later in the episode, Supreme Kai tells Goku, like, Glorio's hiding something, right? And Goku's like, okay, but who cares? Goku doesn't really care. We all know Goku's that carefree guy, and it's like, if there is something going on with, Glorio, we'll deal with it later, right? Like I said, we don't know if Glorio is the main villain of the show. We're not saying that, but they've been teasing it every single episode that something is going on. Glorio has to have some kind of agenda here, right? We don't know what it is, right? We learned that the third Demon World King's his intentions are basically he wants Goku to defeat Goma, because if he's able to defeat Goma, he can try to take over the throne of becoming the Demon World King and bring peace to the rest of the Demon Realm, right? So, like I said, remember, One of the things we first learned about the show is that Goku and the others kind of get placed into this conspiracy, right? Because there's people that have problems with Goma being the Demon World King, right? Like, for example, Goma charges 3 coins, as payment. Deborah wasn't the best, but Deborah was a little more lenient than that. And of course, if you don't pay 3 coins, you lose 9 lives for every coin you don't give, which is insane. But you could see there's people that have problems with Goma the way he rules the demon world, right? And there's other people that want him to be taken out so that they can take the throne. So now Goku's being put in the middle of that conspiracy because now if he defeats Goma, the third demon world king could become king potentially, right? I don't think Goku cares about that much because we know Goku's objective here is he wants to fight strong opponents, he wants to save Dende, and he wants, of course, use the Dragon Balls to hopefully bring everybody back to normal into their adult bodies, right? But, you can see there's a conspiracy forming here. And I think it'll be interesting to see, like, say, when they get to the second demon world and when they meet that king, or if something happens to Glorio, how this conspiracy continues to evolve as more and more people get involved and more people learn about Goku and his friends and how strong they actually are, right? Because like I said, it doesn't seem like there's many strong people in the demon realm, at least not right now, outside of the Teragamis, right? And so Goku just basically is just walking in and he's just really just kicking ass of everybody he sees. There's a funny moment where Goku basically the third Demon World King basically asks Goku, hey, if you complete this mission, I'll let you marry my daughter, right? And Panzy's like, you're not the one to make that decision, and Goku's like, oh, actually, I have a wife and kids at home, and that is when like the Supreme Kai explains that Goma turned them into kids. That's part of the reason why they're in the demon realm, as well. Which is funny. I'm not, but I'm not saying I don't think Panzy has a crush on Goku, but and maybe it's just because he seems so friendly. But we do learn also in this episode that people in the demon realm live over 1,000 years long, which is insane. That's like 10 times the amount that a normal person lives in the outside world, right? Like on Earth, for example. We know Goku at this point in the timeline is like somewhere in his 40s, something like that, of course. So the fact that, most people will live 10 times that much is insane. We learned that Panzy's 82. So, like, basically, if Panzy was from the outside world, she would be around Master Roshi's age, right? But in the Demon Realm, 82 years old, you're still in, like, your youth. You know what I mean? Panzy's not even a full-grown adult yet, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so we get more lore expansion here. So basically, when Goku basically tells him he wants to fight the Teragamis and gather the Dragon Balls, it shocks, of course, Panzy and the Demon World King. So what happens is basically the king wants Goku to show off a demonstration of his power, right? And basically he gathers like kind of like his all of his soldiers against Goku in like a 1v20, right? Something like that. And we get another awesome fight sequence. The fight sequences have been really, really good so far in Daima. And then we get this really awesome sequence of this Goku just be throwing hands on everyone, right? Just throwing hands. And it's about a minute and a half. Goku doesn't use the power pole. So like I said, like in episode 2, we see Goku fighting with like burgers and plates. In episode 3, that was episode 4, last episode, we see Goku fighting with the power pole. This episode, Goku's just fighting with his hands. And remember, Goku is still nerfed. He's still getting used to his mini body, but he's getting more and more control with every single episode, right? And basically, the king tells all his soldiers, like, hey, don't use weapons, no killing, no guns. Goku's like, nah, I need the training, He's like, just no guns, but he takes off his power pole and he just whoops them all. In another amazing fight sequence, man. Of course, they try to like gang up on Goku by grabbing his arms and legs. Goku goes in the Super Saiyan literally for half a second just to do like a key explosion and blow everybody back, which looked really really good. And when Panzy and them are shocked, at how strong Goku actually is. Glorio's like not right. Let's like I said, we like still we have no idea what's going on with Glorio. And then with Goku or the Supreme Kai's like watching like a proud like father. He's like, yeah, that's my boy, because literally the Supreme Kai said to Goku before the battle started, like, hey Goku, you're not in your prime here, right? You sure you're okay with this? And Goku's like, yeah, I need the training. And then you can see the Supreme Kai just smiling as Goku's just whooping ass. So Goku wins pretty easily. Which, like I said, I love it, but I do kind of want to see Goku kind of get challenged whenever his next battle is, right? And we do know Goku will be fighting again next episode. Um, so we then see the king gives Glorio like a plane for him to use so that they can of course travel. But it's not as good as Glorio's plane. It's kind of like a low budget one, right? And basically we see they had to like kind of rewrite the language on the plane because they're not going to be able to get through Warp Sama. They get to the other world. They get to the second and the first Demon worlds without like a different pin. So they basically he has to rewrite the data on it. And then that reminds, because remember back in episode 3 when Goku first got to the Demon World, they Supreme Kai didn't have enough time to send the pin over to Kibito so that when Vegeta and the others come to the Demon World that they could get in there. But we get introduced to this weird character named Habis, right? Who looks like he literally looks like a Teletubby, right? He looks like he's straight from PBS Kids Teletubby. If you guys know what I'm talking about. And basically he's like doing ballet lessons, right? Which is weird. And then like the king asks like, what are you doing right now? And he's like, I was about to go to the beauty parlor, right? Instead the king's like, hey, I want you to go to the outside world and go get Goku's friends, of course, Vegeta, Kibito, Piccolo, I think that was it, right? Yeah, those four. Yeah, Bulma, Piccolo, Vegeta, and Kibito. And Habis is like, do I have to, right? And the king's like, yeah, you're gonna do it, and it's cool. Habis has kind of like this, like, really good radar that could find planets on the outside world. I don't know if Glorio has something like that, but literally we see him use the radar, and not only is he able to find Earth, but he's actually able to find the lookout specifically. So he has the exact coordinates to go, pick up Vegeta and the others and help them get over there. So yeah, and basically Goku says we're not gonna wait for them, but they'll be able to. You can just direct them to where we are once they get there, right? Well, my prediction is probably Vegeta and them will meet up with Goku once they get to like the second Demon World, probably. But I could be wrong there. But then we get to the end of the episode here. Basically we see Panzy and Goku have this cool kind of fist bump moment because Goku promises the king that like he'll protect Panzy if anything happens, right? So like I said, it's like a cool kind of sibling relationship here with Goku and Panzy. I enjoyed the fist bump moment, and then at the end we see Pansy's loading up too much stuff in the glorious new plane, right? So as they leave, literally we see the plane start sinking and it crashes into the ground at the end of the episode, right? And of course they have food now and all the supplies, but now it looks like the plane's already messed up. But we do learn here that Panzy has she's kind of like the Bulma of the Demon Realm. She's super smart and she's very good with like mechanics and stuff. So it'll be cool to see how her and Bulma interact with each other once Bulma gets over there. But it'll probably like next episode will probably be like them trying to fix the plane. We learned that it will take about 4 days for them to get to the other side of the Demon World, so Goku can go up against the Teragami of the third Demon World. I think we saw a couple shots of that from. If you guys go back and look at like the very first Daima trailer, the announcement one, you see at the end of the episode, it looks like Goku's fighting the Terragami from the Demon World. So I'm actually getting more and more excited for that fight each day, because it seems like that's when we'll get to see Goku get challenged here. But then the episode ends, and then we see in the next episode preview that Goku and Glorio are fighting. And it seems like Goku's fighting Glorio with like one arm behind his back. So I did one of my predictions was that Goku was going to end up training Glorio and Panzy, right? Kind of teaching them about a little more about ki, kind of giving us those like Gohan and Videl vibes from like the early Buu saga. So it seems like maybe that's what we're getting. We don't get any reason for why Goku and Glorio are fighting, but it seems like they're doing training because Goku's fighting him with one arm behind his back. Of course, the big thing is we don't know what Glorio's true intentions are. He's clearly hiding something. I don't know if Glorio, wants to be the Demon World King himself or what, right? But something is going on with Glorio. So that is something I might have to do a separate video on it. But it is something to keep note of as we continue going on here with Dragon Ball Daima. And we also see in the next episode preview that Goku and the others run into like some kind of bull, like a bull type character. So that's something to be keep our eyes on as well. But other than that, that's about it. Like I said, I am really enjoying Dragon Ball Daima. I really am. It's different, but I'm enjoying, the way, for the most part, like I said, every episode is kind of going the same way. It's mainly adventure focused with, of course, a lot of humor, a little bit of action here. But like I said, I would like to see Goku get challenged here a little bit more. Here in the coming episodes, no matter if it's a Terragami or somebody else, right? Definitely I want to see Goku get a little bit of a challenge. But interesting. I am excited to see Goku and Glorio go at it next episode. We've seen Glorio in action throughout the show so far, but it would be cool to see what Glorio is actually made of. Because Glorio, you can't hold back against Goku. He should know that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We'll see how they go up against that bull in a cave. And I'm loving it. One last thing I will mention is, like I said, Goku went Super Saiyan in this episode, for the first time in Daima, right? And that reminds me of GT. There's GT vibes everywhere throughout the show. GT and Star Wars vibes at every single, location, everywhere you turn. But what was interesting is Goku going Super Saiyan this episode, there's a very direct tie-in to Dragon Ball GT, because in Dragon Ball GT, the 5th episode of Dragon Ball GT is when Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time as well. So just something to keep of note. Just something to be note of. But either way, like I said, this was a very, very enjoyable episode. I'm enjoying the show so far. This might have been my favorite episode so far. If I think about it, I think this is probably my favorite episode. But like I said, we haven't reached anywhere close to the peak of Daima yet. But I'm enjoying it. I really, really am. The animation is clean. The fight choreography, everything so far, the music, all of it, really, really enjoyable. It really, really is. But let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoy. Hit the bell right next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Like I said, this is your home for all things Dragon Ball Daima. I'll have more videos coming for you in the coming days. If you haven't, go check out the Dragon Ball Daima playlist that has all my Dragon Ball Daima videos, discussions, reactions, review. Go check out the Dragon Ball Daima Episode 5 reaction if you guys haven't already. It should be up on the channel depending on when you guys are watching this, all right? But yeah, other than that, thank you guys. We'll be back with some more Dragon Ball Daima here in the coming days. I will see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.